you. We have new details now about that deadly prison riot at Lee Correctional Institution. It's a maximum security prison about 60 miles outside of Columbia.
7 inmates are dead. That's confirmed tonight. Another 17 are recovering from their wounds sustained in this fight. Our Georgia Godfrey has the latest information. She was at a news conference this afternoon with the governor, the director of the Department of Corrections. So what are they saying about all of this, Georgia? We know a little more about the prisoners killed and also the timeline of the events, right?
That's exactly right. It took the Department of Corrections along with the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division more than 7 hours to get everything under control after that first fight broke out. The victims ranging in age from 24 to 44 years old with various offenses ranging from first-degree domestic violence to first-degree murder. It would take 4 hours for correctional officers inside the prison to get backup from the Department of Corrections and South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. It would take another 3 for those officers to secure all the dorms.
What they're trained to do is they're trained to, if they can stop it with their own safety. But if they can't, again, they're outnumbered. So they're trained to back out of that dorm and call for support. And that's exactly what we believe they did last night, because support started showing up immediately.
7 inmates were killed, another 17 taken to local hospitals for treatment. The Department of Corrections Director Brian Sterling says the facility was actually overstaffed compared to a normal day. There were 12 officers in each dorm that houses around 260 inmates. But Sterling says the massive fight over money and contraband was too much for regular staff to handle.
These folks are fighting over real money and real territory while they're incarcerated.
We know that prisons are places where people who have misbehaved on the outside go for rehabilitation and also to take them from the general population. It's not a surprise when we have violent events take place inside the prison.
Director Sterling says it took about 2 hours for that first round of backup to arrive at Lee Correctional to assist those officers. He says several of the 17 injured inmates have already returned back to the prison. Live in Columbia, Georgia Godfrey, 7 News.
You know, Georgia, you talked about the normal day staffing there of 12 guards, or that this was more than a normal day. So what would be a normal day if there were 12 and that was overstaffing? What is normal there?
Well, Director Sterling says throughout the complete prison complex, there were 44 correctional officers, which is about double what they would see on a normal basis. But to accommodate some of the lack of staff that they've had in the recent years, they've actually doubled up on those, on their time frames that they spend in the prison. So that night shift actually came in a little earlier and that evening shift was getting off a little later.
I also noticed his verbiage there. He said, you know, we believe. And they also, of course, have surveillance video. Are they looking at that stuff? Have they seen the video yet of what happened?
Yes, they said they are in the process of reviewing all of the surveillance video from inside those dorms to find out exactly what happened and how the fight started. But he did add that the fight broke out while those correction officers were checking the rooms and doing roll call.
Okay, lots more to learn on this. Georgia Godfrey live tonight. Thank you.